What's going on, guys? Data Stradium, here to go over the Dragapult EX deck that I have built here. It's kind of similar to most normal standard Pult decks, but because I'm running what I like to call straight Pult, I can run a lot of different, more tech-style cards that help in a lot of different matchups. Like, I run the Shaman in order to protect from a lot of damage onto the bench, like Arboliva, or Starmie, or Grimmsnarl. I also run one of the Moltres from Phantasmal Flames, where for a single fighting energy, I can just smoke a Teal Mask Ogerpon because of weakness. And then I also have a 1/1 knockdown line, which then allows me to, if I can get it set up, I can just search whatever I want once I have a Dragapult in play, not primarily focusing on the knockdown, but then I also have a 2 of Monkey Dory and Rosas. And also, I kind of wanted to make this as a tutorial to playing Dragapult, because a lot of people are just starting to play the TCG, or it's just after rotation, people don't know exactly how to play some of the decks. So I think going over how to play Dragapult well is something that would be very helpful. So I'm going to play 3 games through, and based on how they go, I will kind of explain what's going on, and I will kind of tell you my thought process as I'm going through each type of thing. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, but I think it's going to be very helpful for new beginners. So, I ended up flipping tails, so we will see if they let me go first or second. So they wanted to go first, which is actually pretty good for me because kind of the goal of the deck, aha, there it is the Badoo, because the Badoo can attack for free and item lock. So the goal of the deck is to Badoo every single turn in the beginning until they knock it out, make it so they can't play. Aha, they have Badoo too. So they decided to go first, but I think not sure if they were going to start Badoo, but it's a Dragapult mirror matchup. This is kind of what I expected. Going first is a little bit better at times because it allows you to get your evolutions up faster because you have the chance to have them in play to then evolve, but going second means I can block off a lot of different things. So just because of how my hand is, I'm just going to attach a fire energy to Dreepy because I'll need a fire and a psychic for Phantom Dive. And what I'm actually going to do, because it's going to make it a little bit harder for them to Itchy Pollen me back, I'm actually just going to boss their Dreepy, and then I'm going to Itchy Pollen them for 10, making it so they cannot play any item cards, which is one of the categories of trainers, and you can play as many items as you want during your turn. The boss's orders was a supporter type, which you can only play one of per turn. So they ended up evolving into Dracloak, and they're going to do Recon Directive, where they look at the top 2 cards, take one, put it in the hand, put the other one to the bottom of the deck. So they are actually playing Crispin, so they can search 2 energy out of the deck. The second one can get attached to the Pokemon, and then they could attach for turn. So they are going to immediately be doing Dragon Headbutt for 70. Or no, they're actually going to retreat back into Badoo, because they don't want to take a knockout yet. Because they want to try and stay at a bunch of prize cards as much as they can. So I'm going to evolve into both of my Dracloaks, and before I play down this stadium, I want to use my Recon Directives so that I can see what I have. Okay, I'm going to take that Dragapult, because that's going to be very, very useful, especially if I can get it up and running pretty fast. And then I'm going to Recon Directive. Okay, Ultra Ball, Dragapult. I'm going to grab the Ultra Ball, because what I'm going to do is I am just going to Itchy. I probably shouldn't have bossed them there. It allowed me to kind of make them burn in energy, but I'm going to end up losing the Itchy War, where I'm going to Itchy them. I should have Itchy them first, because then it would end up becoming where I would knock them out first. But also, I kind of expected to find a Monkey Dory, because if I had Monkey Dory, I can move the damage over and just immediately knock it out. So, if I am able to get a Monkey Dory this next turn. Oh, they played a Risky Ruins. They have a Monkey Dory too. Aha. Do they have a Dark Energy? Nope, they're just gonna Itchy me. So, if I can get a Monkey Dory, then I can immediately knock out their Badoo. Oh, I got a Meowth. That's perfect. So, first things first, I'm gonna Recon Directive on this one. Aha, Xerosix and Risky Ruins. I'm going to grab Xerosix, but I'm not going to play it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to evolve this into Pult. I'm going to bench Meowth, where it has Last Ditch Catch, where I can grab any supporter I want from my deck. So I'm going to grab a Lily's Determination just to completely reset my hand, because I need new cards. So we're going to drop the Lilies, shuffle the hand back in, and draw 8. Okay, that's not perfect, but what I can do is I can at least bench Badoo. Well, if they get a Dark Energy, they're just going to knock it out. Benching another Dreepy is not bad. I still have one more Dracloak. Can I get, like, a Monkey Dory? Okay, I got a Latias. Well, I did get an Ultra Ball, but I can't play the Ultra Ball. So, the question, do I take the Latias? I think I do, because I would rather bench it next turn, and then bench the Badoo. So, I'm just going to Itchy for 10. Make it so they can't play item cards. Because I can always bench the Badoo next turn, because if I were to bench it this turn, they could Dark Energy, move some damage with the Monkey Dory, knock out the active Badoo, and then I would maybe promote the other Badoo, or if they were smart, they would knock out the bench Badoo, and then just knock out the active with the Itchy Palm, taking 2 prize cards. But seems like this is a pretty slow game. They evolved in Dragapult too, and then they rip a Lilies, just like I did. Very useful card in this early game, and also for Dragapult, because you can just keep drawing cards until you want to take the initiative and start taking prize cards. But I will start to limit them, but I think they're just gonna go in, maybe. Who knows? Let's see what they do. Are they just gonna Itchy me again? They're gonna Itchy me again. They're gonna just try and slow my roll. So, from here, my best bet, because of my hand, is actually to just promote Dreepy. Let me see, can I get a Psychic Energy? I cannot. Let me recon first before I make any weird assumptions. Okay, that changes things a little bit, because what I can do is I can move the damage off of my Dreepy and knock out the Badoo and force them to promote something else. But then I couldn't go into Badoo easily, which is really annoying. I could also just do this, because I might as well. We're just going to... No, we're going to do this. We're going to attach. We're going to bench Latias. It'll take 20 damage. I'll bench Badoo. It'll take 20 damage. I'm going to retreat into Badoo. And then from here, I'm going to Itchy, knocking them out. And then they are item locked going into this turn. So they're a lot more limited. Whereas now next turn I should be free to kind of do whatever I so please. What could really hinder me is if they immediately have a boss's orders, because they will probably boss's orders either my Latias or my Meow. And because of the damage on the Dreepy, they'll knock out it and the Badoo, because they place 6 damage counters onto the bench. They do 200 to the active and 6 onto the bench. My Dreepy has 50 health left, and my Badoo has 1, so that's exactly 60. So, but they also have attached with Monkey Dory. Do they have boss's orders? That is the main question. Okay, they are first Adrenabraining. Where are they putting 20 damage? Truly, I misplayed by playing that boss's orders. I should have just Itchied first, because then I would have been able to kill with Itchy Pollen going back into his turn, not my turn, and I wouldn't have been item locked this past turn. I would have been able to play Ultra Balls and stuff like that, and been able to do a lot more. He moved 20 from the Dracloak onto the Meowth to try and kind of save it a little bit more from stuff like that. Oh, he's going to Xerosix me. Interesting. So these are guaranteed going to go. I'm gonna probably get rid of the knocked out, and then I would probably say getting rid of the Ultra Ball and the... Probably just the Dark Energy, because I do not have a Monkey Dory at the moment, but also I think getting rid of Area 0 is not a bad idea. Because that also means he's only going to be taking 2 prize cards this turn, and then I can pseudo fire back with some more damage, take some prize cards. Yup. So he's going to take 2, go down to 3. If anything, at this point, getting a Rose's Encouragement would be... Well, Roses wouldn't do much. Ah, Pheasantipity. Perfect. We're just going to bench that. We're going to Recon first. We get Fire Energy and Shaman. We'll grab the Fire Energy. And then we are going to Pheasantipity, where if I got knocked out last turn, I flip the script and draw 3 cards. Puffin, Pokepad. So if I do that, I just barely missed the knockout on Monkey Dory. But I could take the knockout on one of their Dragapults, which is probably what I'm planning on doing. So I'm going to Pokepad in order to get a Monkey Dory from my deck. I'm going to bench the Dory. I'm going to attach a Dark Energy to it. Adrena Brain from my Meowth to one of their Dracloaks. And then the question is, because they can move for sure 20 damage from there, putting that to 30. So I should probably just, even though it'll hurt my draw a bit, I should probably evolve the Dracloak into a Dragapult. So that I can then, if I get like Rosa, if I get hit, then I can Rosas and do other things. So I'm going to hit for 200, putting 6 onto the Dragapult, knocking it out, taking a prize card, putting me to 4, and setting up a pretty decent board state where I shouldn't really get KO'd too fast, and they'll have the Dragapult in the active, where I can then knock out Dragapult and Dracloak basically in the same turn, which should do a bit, because kind of with the amount of damage across the board, it's going to be a little bit hard for them to not put 3 in some places, especially if they boss up the Latias. So they're going to Recon Directive. They're going to draw a card. They're at 12 now. Interesting. Which I would say in the Pult Mirror, getting the first hit into a Pult, that was a smart move. He ended up evolving his Dragapult so that I didn't immediately knock it out this next turn. And he was able to attach a Fire Energy to it. Plays Buddy Poffin. Fails it. Plays the Pokepad. You get another Monkey Dory. And the only way he is going to be able to power that up this turn, if he were to bench it for some reason, would be if he plays Crispin. And he has 2 energy in the deck. He's going to Ultra Ball. He's discarding 2 to grab Meowth. Probably to grab a specific supporter. There goes down the Meowth. Grabbing the Crispin, which puts 20 damage onto it. Benches the other Monkey Dory. So I think his goal is to kill my own Monkey Dory, so that he's winning in the Monkey War. That does set him up decently for a good knockout next turn. The main thing I need to do is I need to find a way to discard with, I need to find a way to discard at least a fire or a psychic. I need to try and get Rose's encouragement, and then follow up with, yeah, I need to follow up. I need to get a Rose's encouragement to follow up with using that to help attach to the other Dragapult. I need to discard at least one, and then I can retreat, go into the other, make him have to have boss's orders, but this also allows me to Pheasantipity this turn, so I get 4 cards in total. There's a Lily's Determination. Probably my best bet is... Does I basically have to Phantom Dive something? I think Fez first is a good idea because I'm trying to go for like Roses or something. Aha! Unfair Stamp, a very powerful card, and something I am definitely going to be doing. Because it sets me up pretty nicely for a lot of different things. So I'm just going to Unfair Stamp, which shuffles both of our hands into the deck. He draws 2, I draw 5. The only reason I was able to play that was because of certain things. The main thing is, let me think for a second. I cannot, or I can take a 3-prize knockout this turn, or I can make it to where he basically has to have boss's orders. So I'm going to Crispin, and we're going to get 2 energy, 1 into the hand, 1 attaches to the pult. I'm going to attach to this pult, retreat, we'll discard the fire energy to bring up the other Dragapult. I'm then going to Phantom Dive, and just for sanctity, my best bet is to try and spread it as much as I can. So I'm going to put 10 there, 10 there, 10 there, and then I will put put 30 on the full, so that they can't get a full 60 from 2 Adrenabrains. They have to do 20 and then and 30, so the most they can do is 50, which does set me up pretty nicely to where if they do 50 and then they do 60, that is 110, which means my Dragapult on the bench can't immediately die. So they basically are kind of on the ropes a little bit. And they have to also have the psychic, after the Unfair Stamp, they had to have the psychic energy in order to attack with the Dragapult anyway, which makes it very hard. Wherein for me, all I have to do is get a boss's orders. If I get a boss's orders, I win this next turn. If not, I can take out one of their monkeys and cripple it, and then I can follow up by maybe taking down the other Monkey Dory, unless they heal it. So they put 30 onto the pult, and then they're probably going to move 20 from one of the Monkey Dories. Their best bet is the benched one, so I meet at 250, and then they're just going to pass. From here, I have access to the Night Stretcher, which does put me in a decent range for some things. My best bet is probably going to be first Pokepad just to check the deck. And I see there's Monkey. What we're going to do is we're going to bench the Monkey and take some damage, which sucks, but I'm going to kill theirs. We're going to grab back a Dark Energy, I will attach the Dark to the Monkey Dory. We will Adrenabrain. And I'll move 30, and because it's not going to really change the math too much on a lot of those, I'm going to get the 30 just out of play, almost entirely, or try and get it out of play. Well, actually, no, I'm going to get it out of play, because if I would have done 30 and 60, it wouldn't have been able to knock out any of those. My best bet is actually not to put damage counters in play, because then it allows them to do more damage. But then also, I'm going to rip a Lily's Determination to draw up to 6 to hopefully get like a boss's orders, which I do end up finding. What else could I do? There's not much else. From here, I'm actually just going to Jet Headbutt for 70, just to take out the Monkey Dory in the active, putting me down to 1 prize card, and then they only have 20 damage in play in order to use, and I am even farther away from Monkey Dory plus Dragapult Phantom Dive knockout onto my bench. So they can Pokepad, but I don't know what they're going to grab. They can grab a Cloak, I guess, to thin the deck. I don't know what else they're going to do. They're just going to Jet Headbutt me for 70. Just try and put some damage. I think they kind of know it's a little bit over. And then from here, I'm just going to Boss's Orders, Meowth, Monkey Dory. We'll move 30 to the Monkey Dory, just to kind of show that there was a lot I could have done. Also bench that, or throw that down, and then I'm just going to Phantom Dive, and I would have, even if I would have just hit the Pult, I would have left him pretty close to death, where I would have won next turn. So that was a pretty good back and forth game of Pult v Pult. Kind of had me on the ropes there for a second. Unfair Stamp kind of came in clutch, I will say. If you don't have a good enough board state and you can't draw cards out of Unfair Stamp, it really screws you over. Which, I will say, that was a pretty good game to kind of demonstrate Pult overall. And you seeing how they played, how I played, kind of me talking you through the different ways in order to benefit yourself and to try and mitigate certain things getting sniped, and we both played pretty well with that. So due to that, Poke players, and because that game took a bit, I'm going to leave it there. If you would like more content of Pokemon stuff, go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure to comment what other decks you would like me to play, because thank you for watching. Hope you guys subscribe and turn on notifications for whenever I would post next, but make sure to comment.